Welcome back, everyone, to the second episode of the falkencast podcast. I've got online here not only Chris from twitch.tv/Scarlet Show, but also Fryman from twitch.tv/ What's the end part of your URL, Fryman?
The Fryman 14.
Okay, yeah, the Fryman 14.
If you
Anyways.
use an auto-hold, you're basically a criminal.
What?
I've learned something.
Haha, you have to start with something strong.
I have learned something today.
Oh, yeah. So, what do you guys want to start with today? Do you guys want to start with the Resident Evil?
Oh, yes. I would love to start with the Resident Evils.
Okay, shall we start with the
Resident
trailer, or
Evil.
shall we start with your gameplay, Fryman?
I'd say let's start with the trailer, give our thoughts on the trailer, and then show off the gameplay. That way the audience knows. But hello, everybody. I thought I'd say hi.
Okay, let's go ahead and get that trailer
You know what,
started.
Yeah, Show, do you have the trailer loaded up?
I've basically got it pulled up on Carl's stream.
Ah, okay. We'll just be silent.
Oh my god, it's a woman.
I can't hear anything if you're in the stream.
Yeah, I can't hear anything in the stream either.
God.
Don't worry, folks. Growing pains. We'll get there.
I swear it was working earlier. Give me a second.
Also, you sound kind of echoey.
Okay, I'll have to go ahead and fix my echo. Okay, that's why. Okay, now that that's finished, what I need to go ahead and do is add here. Input capture.
Sorry, am I bothering you?
No.
No, it's good. No dead air.
I just start going faster. It's just like that gag from Family Guy where it's like, "Hey, play me off, Johnny."
Okay, let's go ahead and try it now.
All right.
All right, perfect. I can't tell. It sounds quiet.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything either.
Jesus.
Isn't it kind of hard to play like YouTube audio through Twitch?
No. Oh, that's a thing on your end if you're not getting any audio.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to see what's going on here.
If you want to share your screen, I can give you a hand.
I've got that coming in from the laptop using the capture card. I thought I had everything set up for it to come through the capture card side of things. Let's go ahead. Check. Oh. Okay. Capture device. Stream. Settings. Default device.
Default
Capture.
device.
Okay.
May I see your scenes? Out of
I have to
curiosity.
say, it is pretty.
Okay. Hold up. I think I've got it fixed. Let's go ahead. Could you hear that there or no?
No, I don't hear anything.
Jesus. Okay. That's gonna be... Okay, real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen on the Discord chat real quick.
Yeah, apologies for the technical difficulties, everybody, but this thing happens.
I thought I had that fixed.
In the meantime, Show, why don't you, anything you want to talk about while we get this fixed?
So I guess I can take over from here. I'll just start with the music review that I kind of wanted to go through.
Can you show me the capture cards source?
So this is the Scarlet Show's music review.
Oh,
Here, we like to talk music in the most plainest of fashions. No, not really. But in this case, there is music that I kind of wanted to go over.
Yeah, so
So
just leave it at
back
capture
in
audio.
October,
Go into this.
back in October, Bring Me
Turn
the Horizon
that up.
released a new EP.
Huh?
Sorry,
Turn
it's a
that
little
part.
hard to talk when you guys are talking.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead and turn that up because
This?
that's for the audio. Yeah,
This is
trust
actually
me.
going to be from my webcam and not from my not from the capture device. This theoretically is from the capture. Yeah.
Really
So
capture of ID stream. Yeah. Well, it's just the video capture device said it was the Elgato, so that's why I'm like, you sure about that?
yeah, the video capture device is titled on here is my webcam. The capture of ID stream is the capture of the laptop. So
Can I
I
stream?
don't know why
Can you hit properties for me?
There we go.
Ah, there it is. All right, scroll down. Interesting. Try that. See if that does anything.
Okay, hold on.
Oh boy.
Yeah, if there's no.
have an idea
Yeah.
where I might have gone wrong here. Let me go ahead and see if I can change where the audio is outputting to on the laptop. There
Okay.
we go. No, that's the microphone. Okay.
Oh, how's everybody doing?
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and talk about your stuff, dude? We'll figure this out.
So, anyways, back to more
Ethan
important matters.
Winters
Actually,
has-
not more important. This is just kind of chaos. But Bring Me the Horizon released a new album, well, EP, back in October. And honestly, I've been listening to it pretty much every single day since I first heard it. Like, honestly, I think it's one of the coolest albums that was ever put out, or just one of the coolest things just kind of put out in 2020. Just because it was a great collection of music. Granted, a lot of the music was actually released back in late 2019 as well, but they've kind of been releasing tracks just kind of throughout the year of 2020. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just also looking at the stream and trying to hear the audio.
No problem.
Oh, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't play it yet.
Okay. Gotta love the stream delay.
Oh yeah. So go on about the music.
Anyways, yeah. As far as it goes, the first track that I really heard from it was the song "Obey," which was featured Youngblood, who I'm not the most familiar with, but hey, he actually was pretty good on the track. As far as it went, the song was basically a fusion between, I guess you can say, like new metal and electronica, even though new metal is already kind of electronic. But as far as it goes, Post-Human, that's a pretty good song to kind of start with. As far as say other songs that were released on the album, Parasite Eve, it has a weird chant. I assume that comes. Was there a Parasite Eve anime? I don't know.
Oh, there was a video game. I don't think there was an anime.
Okay, probably was based off of like the video game, but honestly, I wasn't a fan of it. The chorus sounded a little awkward. Just Um, then there's the song Teardrops, which it gives me heavy Linkin Park vibes. Like, seriously, it's almost one to one like a Chester Bennington song. When it comes to my favorite track on the album, I would have to give that honor to Ludens, which was actually a tie-in for Death Stranding.
Oh, really?
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. They made a song or two. I remember now.
yeah. And honestly, I haven't heard any other song related to Death Stranding, but Ludens honestly is probably one of my new favorite songs just to come out of Bring Me to Horizon. Who's granted my favorite song by them before was a song called Mantra, and that song was about creating a cult just for the heck of it. I just found that to be a funny song. Let's see. As far as other songs on that EP, I didn't find "Itch for the Cure" to be that interesting. "Dear Diary" was a really good. I think it's a pretty good song, but A, it's kind of short, and B, it's a little too screamy. So if it's not to your taste, then you can pass on that. Now, the real interesting track that I found with the post-human survival horror EP was Kingslayer, because that song featured baby metal. And if you know baby metal, then you can tell that's a very interesting combination of styles. Because you got Hawaii metal versus like this industrial, like kind of neo new metal kind of sound. And honestly, it blends together really well. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to use it for some kind of anime opening in the future. And then
Yeah.
the last two songs, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of. One by One featuring the Nova Twins. Yeah, not the biggest fan of it, just because there's this one lyric that always throws me off. I treat my mind like an arch enemy or something like that. Yeah, that's an awkward line to just kind of throw in there. And then the last one I just find kind of pretentious because it's with Amy Lee, and the song title is called "One Day the Only Butterflies Left Will Be in Your Chest as You March Towards Your Death." Man, that's a mouthful. Shortened to Butterflies, it's basically a ballad between Ollie Sykes and Amy Lee. And honestly, if and Amy Lee is the lead singer of Evanescence, so yeah, just kind of no, I'm not interested in that. But yeah, I'd say at least like the half that I don't like, it's just more so that I just not a fan of. I don't think they're necessarily bad. But the other half, which I really like, I think it's something at least worth checking out if you're into kind of a electronic, like rock, new metal, kind of grungy like blend. Because honestly, it's just really hard to describe Bring Me to Horizon style, because some songs they sound like a boy band, some songs they go as hard as possible, and some songs it's like you're watching a computer program crash.
You could make the argument that makes them interesting because you never know what you're going to get with their style of music.
Yeah, like honestly, before I always considered them just like kind of a cool like electronic rock band, but this kind of like tipped them over the edge for me in terms of like just putting them up there as one of my favorite bands. Just because like they have such a unique blend of styles that I don't think anyone can really like replicate, even though like they might have things that I don't know you could probably find from like other songs, especially like Linkin Park in the case of this album.
Hmm.
But yeah, I will say though, if you're looking for music videos, the one for Luden's really good. Although since it's a tie-in with Death Stranding, it has some cutscenes from the game in there. Um, and then the only other ones that have music videos are Obey, which is actually kind of funny because it features two giant fighting robots. Teardrops, which is appropriately depressing. And then uh, to Parasite Eve, which is eh. And then all the other ones have like lyric videos. They don't really have like music videos per se.
Interesting. Might have to actually go ahead and check out the artist. And what was the artist name again?
The
Chris?
band is called Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, maybe I'll give their music a try because I've heard of them, just never really, listened to them that much. So, nah, you piqued my curiosity now.
Yeah, because the main thing is that I get that there's a lot of music where it's just not for everyone. Like, I can honestly say that at least some of these songs people are just guaranteed not going to like at all. But in some cases I feel like as if you find certain songs to be your liking, whether it be ironically or not, like I know for a fact, Fry Man, you actually kind of find crawling in my skin to at least be funny.
Yeah, the memes. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
can't argue with the memes.
But yeah, I genuinely like these guys. I hope they keep putting out good content, because honestly, one of the bigger disappointments for me is when I heard that um um now I'm blanking on the name, Deftones. They put out a new album, and all of it sounds like generic skater rock. So that was just kind of disappointing.
Hey, that's always disappointing when a good artist puts out something and you're completely disappointed in how it turns out. Any other interesting songs you've
Tool.
heard recently? Well, that's because Tool's a
Um,
tool.
as far as recently, um, the funny thing is that when it comes to songs that I listen to, generally I get a lot of my sources from, say, like video games or the radio, or maybe I'll like hear it in like a soundtrack. And that still remains true, although I found myself really attached to kind of a weird genre, being like indie, because I've been listening to the GTA 5 soundtrack for a while, playing with my friends, and I kind of grown attached to one of the radio stations everyone hates, called Radio Mirror Park, because they have a lot of songs where it's just like, oh my god, these have such amazing grooves. How have I never heard of these before?
I'll be honest, back when I played Grand Theft Auto regularly, the radio station I liked in that game the most was the ridiculous talk shows from Vice City.
Yeah, especially I mostly played 3 growing up besides San Andreas, and I loved listening to the Chatterbox radio station because some of the shit I heard was just, and that thing was just like, what the fuck?
Oh, trust me, I absolutely loved West Coast talk radio on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, just because it's like you have all sorts of freaks that just they gave radio talk show to.
Yeah.
It's like whose idea was it to give a world traveling pedophile a radio show?
Actually, now that I think about it, in GTA 4, I listened to one talk show and they had this whole infomercial, or I think it was an infomercial, or they just had call-ins, and at one point there was this lady calling in to saying how does she deal with her husband who's addicted to video games, because he's always like playing the video game, and then and it's pretty much like the kind of gamer that's addicted to like World of Warcraft is who she was describing. she she legit was like, yeah, how do I deal with him, because every time he plays the game, he's just a changed man, and whatnot, and he like the video game never leaves him, so he just kind of reenacts it. It was hilarious. You should look that up.
Well, to be fair, GTA 4 also had like a parallel to Jack Thompson, with the guy who said, "Guns don't kill people, video games do."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
No, look, I think we can all agree when it comes to the question about whether or not guns kill people. Dale Gribble said it best. Guns don't kill people. The government does.
Womp, 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 womp. And we're changing topic. Anyways,
Resident
Moving
Evil.
on.
so
Time to go ahead, see
yeah.
if this is working properly this time around.
Oh boy. I mean, I can always just look at it, or we can just pull up like video tabs on our own.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
there
heard
it
it.
Whoa,
It sounds
what?
It sounds
Yeah,
pretty.
why is it all hiccupy?
Yeah, it's all choppy for some reason.
God damn it, Little Wayne! This is what he does. He hacks into people.
Yo, stream should be back up in just a moment. Hey, Kurzana Zekromos. Give us a second while we go ahead and see if we can get that hardware issue solved. Okay.
The bell tolls for us all.
Carl sounds kind of.
They're coming again.
Mother Miranda, I regret to inform you that Ethan Winters has escaped that fool Heisenberg.
Mother Miranda.
Because he is in my castle and has already proven too much for my daughters to handle. When I find him... No, Mother Miranda. Yes, of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony. I won't let you down.
And the sound died on my end.
Yeah, the sound died for me too.
I don't need this.
Sound died?
Yeah.
Let me see what's going on there.
Oh boy.
How's it now?
Better.
Well, Ethan Winters. There you are.
Oh, there's gonna be more.
Who the fuck are you? Let's see what you're really made of. Ethan Winters.
Okay, and now it's time for me to go ahead and pull up your test play footage.
Yep. So, what's everyone's thoughts on that trailer?
Seems interesting. I've never played any of the blah blah blah. If I could talk today, I've never played any of the Resident Evil games really. So I'll have to go ahead, see how that's gonna look, and maybe actually try out one for the first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as it goes, it kind of reminds me of the Resident Evil 3.5 like Hookman demo.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
But-
They've brought back the inventory from Resident Evil 4 as well for Resident Evil 8.
but yeah, weird that we have the Victorian dress lady, and now they can like teleport with whatever virus they're hooked up with.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors going on with her. I can't hear. Oh wait, I had it muted.
So as far as it goes, they're basically continuing from the direction
7.
Resident Evil 7 was going.
Yeah, the story is a direct continuation.
But now they're bringing in Chris Redfield.
Yeah, the first trailer kind of hints that there's something going on with him because he kidnaps the main character's daughter and kills his wife. So it's setting up Chris to be a villain this time around.
Oh. So, is this
That's
one
what
of
he gets
those?
for punching innocent boulders.
Is this
Nah,
one of
he's
those
taking a-
games where? Oh.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
just
gonna
saying. Go ahead.
I was gonna say for this one, will I have to go ahead and play through Resident Evil 7 to be able to follow the storyline, or will I be able to hop straight into 8?
I'd say to be safe, yeah, play 7. You don't technically need to play the other ones if you want to understand 7 or 8, but it does help to have a little bit of backstory. But if you just want to play them, by all means, go ahead and get 7 and 8, and you're all set.
Basically, they kind of made 7 in response to how bad Resident Evil 6 did.
Well, they also kind of jumped on the whole PT and first-person horror game trend a little bit. But
I'm glad they did that.
yeah, no, I like the direction they're going. This new one, they really are taking risks. But this demo, to get clarification, is just it's a standalone demo to kind of mostly show off the game and what to expect. But there's not much any combat or anything of the sort. It's mostly a visual showcase, but there's supposed to be another demo coming out sometime in spring so that everyone can play. This is just exclusive to the PS5 right now.
Okay. So, where was I going to go with this? Oh, yeah. So, how would you rate Resident Evil 7 having played it?
I'd rate it a solid 8 out of 10. It's a really good game. It got me to really try the series because I literally pre-ordered it and bought it on a whim because I thought the trailers looked interesting. And then I played it and I was like, so this is why everyone likes Resident Evil. And then I've played every game. I played the main Resident Evil games ever since. Most of them I like.
Have you played Code Veronica?
Yeah, I hate that one. Shush.
So in other words, you're saying I should totes buy it while it's on sale for a tenner.
Yeah. I definitely would play Resident Evil 7. It's a great game. But I also recommend you play the rest of them. Not all of them are great, but yeah, no, I definitely would recommend getting into Resident Evil.
I'd say the definite low point of the numbered games is 6.
Yeah, to some extent 5.
See, 5 in terms of, say, story, I think is pretty weak. In terms of gameplay, if you have like a person to play with, it is really fun.
I'd say it's weak depending on who you ask, because while everyone loves Resident Evil 4, the story has nothing to do with the canon that Resident Evil was going for after 1, 2, and 3. 5 was the one. 5 story brought it back on track, but people love the game Resident Evil 4, not the story as much, because it's just dumb. It's really dumb. But 5, while it definitely got the series going, at least from the story, it definitely was another kind of nail in the coffin that Resident Evil was going for, which was them trying to appeal to the Call of Duty and Gears of War crowd at the time, which didn't work out for them.
Kind of like how they had to
because
do a
weren't
bit of
people
a...
getting tired of it at that point.
So it's a bit like how they... Oh.
Go
Go on, Chris.
No, I was just making a jab at how people were all getting tired of Call of Duty and Gears of War at that point.
Oh,
yeah.
they weren't.
Unfortunately, the fan base for Gears of War and Call of Duty weren't getting tired of it. People like you and me probably getting tired of it, especially with the larger emphasis on multiplayer, because I don't do a lot of multiplayer. Even if I do multiplayer, it's going to be something like a fighting game, not usually something like a first-person shooter half the time.
Well, the rest of the Resident Evil series isn't first-person shooter. Like 7 and 8 are, but that's just because they're the newest in the franchise. And there are like a couple of games on the Wii that were rail shooters, but
Yeah, but those are spin-offs. Most of the series is a third-person kind of affair, but they also had tank controls and fixed camera angles. 4, 5, and 6 were over-the-shoulder third-person, but they were all action games more so than horror games. Then they remade Resident Evil 2 and 3. They remade 1, but while it's a better game, it's no different. It's the same like gameplay, like it's fixed camera angles, but with slightly better controls. But it looks pretty. I'll give it that. But yeah, 2 and 3 recently they've remade into third person over the shoulder. Excuse me.
Interesting.
over the shoulder.
Yeah, I'll be honest. How good was the third-person controls in it back in the day? Because I know back in the day,
Tank controls.
it's like a PS... tank controls, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
but-
also like Resident Evil 4 was that game that revolutionized third-person cover over-the-shoulder shooters. Like, it was one of the first that kind of did it, and did it so well that everyone copied it.
Oh.
Which makes results.
Yeah, some do it better, some do it worse, but yeah, the kind of game that Resident Evil 4 was pretty much what a lot of other companies kind of copied, just to their own degree. That's why Gears of War is a thing, but it was more focused on cover shooting, so much so.
Oh yeah, and definitely like I've seen that happen with the first-person shooter franchise back in the day. Because I remember playing Doom, which was designed back before it was expected a computer owner owned a mouse as well. Where, back when mice were optional accessories, not something you actually plugged in right off the bat to your computer.
Yeah, that I believe.
But and they had interesting ways of controlling it back then. Direct up and down aiming wasn't much of a thing. It was just getting the target at the center of the screen and firing, like with the original Doom.
By the way, I will say this though. I think my favorite way to play Resident Evil 4 is on the Nintendo Wii. Just because it feels so good to point and aim with like Leon in that game.
Yeah, no, that's one of the best ways to play it, but I do feel like there's no like correct version of the game to play. Just that one is one of them, but you could play the modern HD remaster and you're good to go.
To be fair,
No.
you do lose out on some stuff with the GameCube version.
No, not really, no.
Don't you not get Ada's story mode in GameCube version?
That was the PS2 version, and every version, every remaster is based on the PS2 version. But they also included her campaign as well, so you're all set, really.
Oh yeah, so what I'll do is I'll see about picking up 7 after the stream tonight. Might even see about going ahead and streaming it sometime later in the week, most likely Tuesday or Wednesday. I think I've got work Wednesday morning, most likely Wednesday afternoon if I want to stream it.
Yeah.
That chick just bit me.
Oh yeah.
Then I took a bite out of his jugular vein.
Oh, we're going to skate, boys. We're almost out.
So we finally.
I need to make that a sound clip. I took a big bite out of his jugular vein.
I really need to see about getting some sound clips set up for the podcast at some point.
The heck, she has Freddy Krueger claws?
Yeah. The funny thing is the internet's is in love with her, and it's hilarious. Not realizing that she's going at probably at the end of the game, she's going to turn into a giant monster out of Bloodborne.
Well, what is it? Rule 34, if it exists, there's porn of it.
I know, it's just like, but it's funnier. It's a lot funnier knowing that they're really trying to make this game that scary, and it looks scary, but just wow, everyone's just head over heels for that character.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say as far as Resident Evil goes, Carl, feel free to start with like 7 and 8. As far as like earlier in the series, 4 isn't a bad one to start with. I think 2 is actually a pretty good one to go with if you want to play like the original versions.
Well,
No.
if you
Can I get most of them on PC, or is it just the newer ones I'll be able to land on PC?
No, you can get all of them. You can get zero. They HD remastered a lot of them. The only one I think you can't get would be Code Veronica, because even though technically in the storyline it is Resident Evil 3, but that's a long story. But yeah, right now there's a sale going on. There's a sale going on for both like the ones that are already on Steam as well as the remakes and 7 and 8, because you can pre-order it now. So yeah, I'd say go ahead and indulge. It's a series I'd say that's worth jumping into.
Okay, and for 7, how is the first-person shooter side of it?
It's not. Don't expect like Doom or Call of Duty. It's a bit more slower, and a bit more claustrophobic because it's also a horror game and it wants to scare you, but it gives you a means to fight back. So don't go in expecting Doom, but it's pretty solid both if you play on controller and PC.
So it's a bit like Clock Tower 3 wined and dined Half-Life a little bit and gave birth to a new game.
Yeah, a little bit. It's also kind of like Fear, if you've ever played Fear.
Haven't played Fear, though I'll be honest, I do remember playing Clock Tower 3 back in the day. That one was pretty fun. I should revisit it
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, that's a game I want to play.
Clock Tower.
Yeah,
That's not really
Clock-
scary.
Yeah, there's a bundle right now for Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake on Steam. They're less than $30 or about $30. I'd say that's a good deal to jump on.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Nice.
We'll make a fan out of them yet.
Well, when are you going to play Resident Evil 7? You've only played one, sir.
Honestly, my thing is that when it comes to like horror games, now granted, these aren't like, the scariest games in the world, mind you, but it's just like I admire these games more for their story than say like the gameplay.
No, trust me. Once it hits, you'll never want to stop playing them. I used to be the same way. Remember, I had experience with Resident Evil. My first game was 5 when it was brand new, when I first got a PS3. And then because of you, I tried out Resident Evil 4. I kind of get it, but I never really played the series to a degree. And I think I tried the remake of 1 when it got an HD remaster. And then I was like, why do people like this? This blows. But then I don't know what it was. 7 hit a good chord with me. And I'm like, I want to play the rest of them. And then, except for maybe 1 or 2 of them, I really enjoyed them. So
All right.
it's a thing of like, you just gotta give it a chance. And once it gets you sink your teeth into it, you never want to let go.
Oh yeah.
Much like a zombie sinking its teeth into the flesh of its victim.
And hey, I'll be honest, have you guys actually played through the Half-Life franchise at all?
Yeah,
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have.
Nice.
I do have the VR one. I haven't finished it, but I'm enjoying.
Half-Life Alex.
Yeah.
Is
the
it
Half-Life
and
Alyx.
is Half-Life Alyx any good? Because up until Half-Life Alyx was released, I wasn't that interested in getting VR equipment as of yet. I might consider getting it and having Half-Life Alyx be the first game I get for VR.
I would say it's worth playing if you have a VR, but I will admit it's hard for me to outright tell you if it's worth buying a VR solely for it, because when I bought my VR headset, I had games in mind I wanted to buy. Like Beat Saber was out and I really like that game. A couple other games too, but and then Half-Life Alyx made me pull the trigger, but I made that decision when there were games I wanted. If you solely are buying it for Half-Life Alyx, I wouldn't recommend.
Oh yeah, like
Well,
Half-Life Alyx wouldn't be the only game I'd pick up. It'd just be one of the games I'd pick up.
Okay,
I mean,
if that's the case and you got the budget, by all means, then I'd say it's worth it.
It'd
mean,
be
I'd
a
also
bit
say
before
that,
I get the budget, because the headset I'd want to get is gonna cost me a pretty penny, because I'd probably go for the Valve Index.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's fair.
yeah. You good luck with that one.
It's like
But I'd also say though, if I could mention, I would also say though another game probably worth getting a VR headset for is ironically Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I think the newest one
I'm
coming
not
out
even
too.
joking. Well, what's it called? I think it's like Intruder or something. But yeah, VR Help Wanted, I think is honestly one of the coolest games ever released for VR at the moment. What's the newest one called? Oh, Security Breach. That's what the newest one is called.
It's not out yet,
By the
though.
way, yeah, it's not out yet. He hadn't mentioned Scott Kaufman mentioned like in his YouTube channel that it might come out in May.
Okay.
Which, hey, that's pretty cool.
What was interesting is that Sony, in their last PS5 showcase, before they released the PS5, they actually highlighted that game as one of the big announcements there. And I'm like, wow, Scott Cawthon's come really far.
Yeah, he went from a guy who was like working like I don't even know. I think he was working like some kind of like customer service job, and then he was making these like really bad like Christian games, and then he made Five Nights at Freddy's on a whim, and then not really on a whim, but mostly because people said that the characters he designed looked like creepy Chuck E. Cheese animatronics, and then because of that, he actually ended up making a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic killer game.
Huh.
He was also raising a family too. Like, yeah, man, he really struck himself gold there and he set himself up. No, nothing but respect there for me, because that's not an easy
Yeah.
thing to do.
And hey,
I would probably also say though is like bear in mind I don't really like the games, if that sounds funny enough, but I love like the story he puts behind them. Because man, that guy can weave like lore and story and hidden Easter eggs and all sorts of stuff into his games, and it's just like, wow, this guy has an eye for like just hiding details. I mean, I don't know. He inspires me in a way. I wish I could like just come up with some stuff that would just be like super crazy. People would have to like try their hearts out to try and figure out. But yeah, you had something to say, Carl?
I was gonna say, yeah. Taking a look at the Valve Index, though, it looks like that actually does come with Half-Life Alyx right off the bat, which is pretty nice to see.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they had a promotion for that for when you bought the Index, like any part of the Index, because it has separate accessories that you get Half-Life Alyx for free. I did not know they were still doing that. I thought that was
Yeah.
only until the game came out.
Only problem is if I get the Valve Index, I'm gonna need the light boxes and the controllers with it. It is gonna cost about $1,000 for it all, but it keeps me it keeps me still not having to deal with Facebook. Like, that is where Oculus lost me, is when they got sold to Facebook. I knew they were going to eventually pull the bullshit where you would be required to have a Facebook account. I knew that was guaranteed to happen. And here's the thing. I don't have to worry about Facebook ever acquiring the Valve Index. Because let's face it, Gabe Newell's already has plenty of fucking money. He doesn't need like, Steam does not need Facebook's money. It's why we haven't seen a lot of new games from them in the last, 15 years, is because they make hand over fist more money selling games than they would ever developing games.
However, though, because of Half-Life Alyx, they're making new Half-Life games.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see it. I want to see more Half-Life games. Like, to put it into perspective, I've been playing the Half-Life franchise since I was probably about 5. So I'm excited for the idea of more Half-Life games.
Which is funny because the first Half-Life game is actually kind of scary.
You find the original Half-Life game scary?
If you were a kid.
Well, just because of the sound design. It's like I played that game like 2 years ago. And it's like the sound design is like so visceral for that game, and it's just like, why am I terrified to like go around a corner when I already know like
That's fair.
what's going on?
That's fair. There was a period of my life where I could damn near play through Half-Life blind. Like, that was kind of the funny part of it, because back in the day, I didn't have a shit ton of games. What I gamed on back in the day was a Windows 98 computer. So I could get whatever the hell I could get running on Windows 98. So I played a hell of a lot of Half-Life, hell of a lot of the OG Doom, plenty of a Dark Colony, which unfortunately we have yet to see it become available on any kind of modern day selling platform. Like, you have to have discs from back in the day to be able to play the game. It is actually like one of my all-time favorite RTS games. Are you guys familiar with Dark Colony at all?
No, the name sounds familiar though, but yeah, I've never played it or know anything about it.
Yeah, so essentially Dark Colony, real-time strategy, kind of in the vein of like Empire Earth. It was rated M. Basically, the concept was humans versus a breed of aliens called the Greys from back in the day. In fact, let me actually
Sounds
real
like
quick for the stream
kind of
pull up a
kind of
couple of
sounds like
screenshots
StarCraft a
of
little
it.
bit. Yeah, it sounds like StarCraft a little bit.
Kind of, but looks a bit different. So let me go ahead, pop back over to the Sunday stream. But yeah, like that there is a screenshot of the game. That's essentially what you kind of dealt with graphics wise. Not necessarily the largest maps of any game or anything like that. Like I think StarCraft had larger maps, but it's just one that I wholeheartedly enjoyed with how they had their units set up. And both humans and them had like equivalent units, but obviously tailored more toward the design factors of, hey, these are alien units and these are Earth units. Along with that, one of the cool factors that they had about that is they actually had a day-night cycle in the game, and the Greys were actually stronger at night, whereas the humans actually did better in combat during the day cycle.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's pretty cool, actually.
That's actually like, I think not a lot of modern RTSs even have that mechanic. I think they just have static map that you fight enemies on, and then it's a war of attrition at that point to see who wins.
Oh yeah, and
Well,
like don't get me wrong, that's perfectly fine. It's just one of those things. That's one of the things I liked about it is they made that distinction. And Chris, you had something to say?
I was gonna say, to be fair, when it comes to like, say, creative designs for like, something like a strategy game, it kind of like I was kind of just reminded, it might be unrelated and just totally, but I was kind of reminded of the whole like transforming terrain from Fire Emblem Fates, because you could actually like you actually got a power to change like the environment around you, and that was a cool design. Too bad it was attached to Fire Emblem Fates.
Yeah. Yeah. Fire. They made mistakes with Fire Emblem Fates, but then they brought it back with Three Houses, so give them credit.
But anyways, go on, Carl. Go off.
Oh, that's about all that I had to say about like Dark Colony. It's just you guys got me kind of thinking of those style of games, dude. Dark Colony. Honestly, what I'd like to do is I'll see if I can track down where my copy is. See if I can get it set up for us to maybe actually stream you and maybe us playing over the internet with it. See if we can get that up and running. Because that, I think, would make for an interesting stream. Because you don't see a lot of Dark Colony plays these days. Because, like I said, you can't really get it unless you can find Dark Colony on disc somewhere.
Yeah, I'd imagine like some of the older PC games might be harder to find nowadays.
Actually, I just went to Amazon. There's used copies that go around for $15.
Oh. Well, this is awkward.
You probably have to like do some kind of, like you probably have to download like a fan made patch, probably change some letters in the
True.
code to get it to work.
Watching Ross Scott kind of made me realize that to make a lot of older games work nowadays, you have to download or do VPNs and all sorts of stuff.
Now, one thing I'm going to state that he really needs to try at this point, and I know he probably gets tired of hearing this recommendation, but from what I've heard, when it comes to running older games, there are certain older games that Linux just runs better, because all you need to do is run it through like Wine or Proton, and it runs without a hitch, whereas you have to do all these extra steps as well. Now, I will give it, if I understand why people stick with Windows, I stick with Windows these days, and for quite a few reasons. At this point, there's, NVIDIA drivers are unfortunately better on Windows, so I stick with that for most of my gaming. But at the end of the day, where was I going with that sentence?
I'll say this though, looking at who made it does surprise me, but they might also be the ones that hold the rights to it. If you ever want to see a re-release at some point,
I forgot who made it.
Rockstar Toronto.
Are they still even active?
Probably not.
I mean,
Okay,
when
the
I hear
original
like a
copy.
big company name
No.
followed by, I was just gonna say, when I hear a big company name followed by a location, that usually implies that they're dead at this point, thanks to
Yeah, no.
companies like EA.
Well, it's
Yeah.
more so that they're probably around. It's just like most of Rockstar's studios that they own, they mostly are getting told to make uh, content for GTA Online or Red Dead Online because that's all that they care about now.
Yeah, Rockstar has been interesting in the last several years. So, originally Dark Colony was released out by Take-Two Interactive. Though,
Ooh.
at first I was thinking, oh, it might be made by Sierra, back when Sierra was a thing. And then I felt old for a second. Because, dude, Sierra Games used to be... Like, literally, it would not be uncommon for me to see that Sierra logo in a given week back in the day. Whereas, I don't think I've seen that on any game made within the last 15-ish. Let's see when Sierra went out of business.
Yeah, they might have gotten absorbed into Universal and then probably sold them off to Activision. Sounds like the fate that usually happens. Oh no,
Sounds like a lot of hoopla.
yeah, they've been dead, and then they moved over somewhere else.
Okay, looks like okay. I stand corrected. I just missed some of their more recent games. They have released a King's Quest back in 2015, but it looks like they've been absorbed by Activision. So,
And that last King's Quest game was not bad. They tried to go the Telltale Games route of releasing an episodic game, like a few, like bi-monthly or something like that. But while it was good, it wasn't really like a big hit or anything. So we haven't had any King's Quest games since then. And yeah, like you said, owned by Activision. You're not going to see anything, unfortunately. Which, speaking of which, recently Activision made a move I'm not happy with at all.
what did they do this time?
They absorbed another one of the companies that they currently own, and they were having a good winning streak the past 3 years. But no, they got absorbed into Blizzard, and now are only helping make World of Warcraft stuff and Diablo. Apparently, they're making a Diablo 2 remake and helping with Diablo.
I thought Activision got absorbed by Blizzard a long ass time ago.
Yeah, no, I think that's the other way around. They absorbed Blizzard, and then they like their parent company is now Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and in case you're wondering, Chris, this is where you're going to be upset. They took away Vicarious Visions. Yeah, in case you're wondering, Vicarious Visions, they mostly were known for helping port certain games over to consoles, and they did make some like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro games for the GBA. But oh yeah, they were also responsible for the Doom Free port to the original Xbox. But recently, they found success with remaking the original Crash Bandicoot trilogy and the recent Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. Though, looking through their catalog, that reminds me, Sierra Studios was the studio that brought from the game manufacturer Valve the Half-Life franchise back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually Sierra Studios. They were the publisher, whereas Valve was the developer at the time. Of course, this was going back into the mid to late 90s, where, honestly, at that time, Steam wasn't a thing. So, Valve just publishing games directly to their own storefront, not really a thing you could do back in 1998 and 9.
No.
Could you imagine trying to download games on fucking dial-up? That sounds like a nightmare and a half.
Jesus.
Especially with those 1 gigabyte day one patches.
Ew. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back when they had to have the game ready to go way in advance because, they had to put it onto the disc and it had to work. They couldn't they couldn't put it onto the disc not working and then just expect people to get a day one patch. I kind of miss that back in the day. That is something I am still salty about with how a lot of modern games are handled.
Yeah, especially recent examples. And all those games that are, what's the term going around? The shit, what was
Bank.
it? Bank. No.
Also, eat some of
Uh
the cheerleaders.
oh, get the games as a service type game.
Oh,
The
yeah,
one
games as a service.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, and we have too many of those now. Especially that Avengers game that cost, I think, Square Enix like billions of dollars in lost profits. Yeah, that's what
yeah.
happened.
I'm not sure how it's going to end up being a sustainable model.
No, the only one it worked with is Destiny. Every other game, not really. Like, there's been too many examples I've seen where it just doesn't work very well. I mean, the Division kind of worked out eventually, but then it kind of became dead. Anthem is one fucking dead, 100%. Even though they're trying to remake it, yeah, good luck with that. What else was there? What other game was there? Oh yeah, Avengers, of course. Yeah, good luck with Avengers.
Yeah, it's like games as a service. Those that I can't stand, and it's like what bugs me about some modern day games is when I load up a game, there's no way that a AAA game that's not listed as early access should feel less put together than an early access indie game. Because there are times I play some early access indie games that are being created by like 3 people that are more put together than what some of the AAA publishers have considered a finished product.
Mhm.
I mean, for the love of God, Minecraft in its early access phase felt more complete than some of those AAA games that have been released.
Any game in Steam Greenlight's more complete than modern games. Let's be real here. That
Jesus
says a
Christ.
lot.
Yeah, no,
That's
green light was a nightmare. Look, I'll be honest, I don't really touch early access games to begin with unless I'm specifically recommended them by a friend at the end of the day. Cuz like that but that's me personally. It's just like I have seen so many early access games just turn out to be absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
yeah. Hell, there's a lot of stories going around just of certain games when they went for early access. There was a YouTuber I watched. He covered a game called Starforge, and it was basically the No Man's Sky of like the early 2010s, and it looked unfinished and bad. But there have been some good ones. What was it? The village, not the village. The forest. I've seen. That's a pretty solid game. It's basically Rust if Rust out of story mode, and you can play with your friends without other people getting on your shit. Yeah, it looked pretty good, and it's getting a sequel. I think this year, and that one's looking promising. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Subnautica. I think that was both a kickstarted and early access game, and that game turned out really well.
Yeah, no, I've got some. Let me actually look through my Steam library. I know I have some early access games in there that have turned out pretty well for me.
Oh yeah, Hades was good, and so was Risk of Rain 2. But I don't have much experience with Risk of Rain 2, but it looks really good.
I think I played a little bit of Risk of Rain's. Rampage Knights. Rampage Knights was a pretty good game that was early access, if not still is. Let me go ahead and see if it's still considered early access. Are you guys familiar with Rampage Knights at all?
No, actually, no.
Nope.
So Rampage Knights, let's see, is it still early access? Okay, it's no longer being listed as early access, so it looks like it's out of its early access phase. But essentially, it was a beat 'em up that you could play either single player or multiplayer. And along with that, it was a roguelike. So, like, every playthrough is going to be different with different power ups and stuff that you'll be able to collect throughout.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you like the beat 'em up brawler types and things like that, it's something that I honestly would recommend checking out for you guys. And, like,
All
come to
right.
think of it, I wonder if we can do Rampage Nights as 3 players. Let me go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, no, I have it on. I'm looking at Steam on Steam. Yeah, it's got online co-op, but I'm hoping what I'm seeing is like it has actual online co-op, not like remote play together, because that's not going to be
Yeah,
fun.
it's got actual online co-op because I've done online co-op with it since before Steam Remote Play was a thing.
Okay, good, because I like remote play as a concept and all that, but it's not the best right now.
There's a lot of things that need to be done to make remote play good, and I understand what like Steam's trying to go for. Like they've already released technologies such as the Steam Link before they discontinued it and turned it into just like a Raspberry Pi option. Like there's a lot of good things you can do with the technology, but actually trying to stream that over the internet is very, very difficult unless you can get ping times to be incredibly low, and that's going to be the weakest technology of the aspect of the technology. Is the further away someone lives from you, the worse it's going to be. Like honestly, remote play probably if you have decent enough internet connection and you're hardwired in, if you and me were to try it, would probably work out relatively okay. Whereas, if I try to do it with a friend in Florida, there's probably going to be a hell of a lot more ping there. And, it's like there's more things that need to kind of go into it and just having online play built into games is going to be a better option.
Mm-hmm.
And now my brain is done with the sentence as I was trying to form it.
Yes. By the way, so didn't we have a trailer we wanted to watch today?
Oh, yes. Let me go ahead
Oh,
and get
yeah,
that
we
trailer
had
prepped and ready. So,
All right, Godzilla versus Kong. Here we go.
This is our only chance. We have to take it.
We need Kong. The world needs him. To stop what's coming. And this child. She's the only one he'll communicate with.
I knew that they had a bond. She had nowhere to go, so I made a promise to protect her. And I think that in some way, Kong did the same. It's Godzilla.
These are dangerous times. Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why.
There's something provoking him that we're not seeing here.
I'm of the same opinion.
The myths are real. There was a war. And they're the last ones standing.
I keep reaching for greatness because I'm built from it.
Who bows to who?
Nobody gonna stop me. Here we go.
Kong bows to no one.
Well,
Okay.
that was it's
It
everyone's flop.
feels weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't. All that pops into my mind is hashtag not my Godzilla. Like,
Honestly, that
literally,
trailer
as
was
I was
hashtag
watching
mediocre.
that trailer, that is literally what popped into my mind was hashtag not my Godzilla.
Is it because of how he looks or the direction they're taking it?
Kind of a bit of both.
Yeah, I'll admit I was a bit at first when I saw Godzilla, I was a bit about it. Looked a little weird compared to how I'm used to seeing him, but at the same time, it's like, okay, he's okay. I'm used to it. But yeah, that trailer, at least what the movie's hinting at, yeah, I don't believe that this Kong could take out this Godzilla, especially because we've had 2 movies with him where he did some shit. But there is like a theory going on about what the real plot of the movie is.
And I'll be honest, if it is related to the recent Kong and Godzilla movies that have gotten released, I'll have to go ahead and kind of get caught up on those, because I haven't kept track of the franchises for many, many years. Honestly, I'm big on the old ones. I grew up on the old ones. And, I'm a bit of a classics fan in that regards. I didn't quite take to the remakes in the way that I did the original ones.
Yeah, they did make a new Godzilla film in Japan called, I think it was Shin Godzilla. It was decent for what it was. I definitely give it a try, but they've been trying to make another one. It's just they can't because currently the over here in America we have the license to use Godzilla, and once it after this film, then the rights can go back to Toho, the production company, and then they can start making their own films. But yeah, that's kind of the state of Godzilla for the time being. But the first American one, it was all right. It was pretty good for what it was. The Kong film was decent, a little better, but it was just okay. And then Godzilla King of Monsters, the last one, it had some good fight scenes and it looked good, but it was a pretty boring film outside of
Yeah.
all those that I just mentioned.
I need to see if I can go ahead and get my hands on some of the older Kong films, like in a big ass collection, for me to put up onto my Jellyfin server. But one of the biggest advantages of DVDs and Blu-rays is being able to go ahead, rip the media off, and place it onto my own personalized private Netflix.
Yeah, can't argue that. So, Show, what did you think of Godzilla versus Kong?
Honestly, it just really didn't look remarkable in any way whatsoever.
Like even though it's a Godzilla versus Kong film, you're just like, no, doesn't look good.
It's not that it doesn't look good, it's that it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, it's just literally the two of them fighting.
Monster fighting films need to get hyped up and need to make you excited. Like, to put it into perspective, I think monster films, if they're not designed in a way where they can get nerds excited like rednecks over a NASCAR explosion, they've done the film wrong.
Yeah, it's also they're releasing it on both theaters and on HBO Max, and most people would probably go see it on HBO Max, considering they don't really want to go out to the movie theaters during this time.
I'm
But yeah,
sadly at the point where I want it on DVD or Blu-ray for a lot of things.
yeah, going out to the movies even pre-COVID was kind of annoying anyway. A lot of planning, a lot of money you got to put together, unless you do
And
it by
that's when the
yourself.
laxative hit.
And then what?
And that's when the laxative hit.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like, I'll be honest with you, not much to say on theaters. Like, they just price gouge you on so much. And, like, the thing that upsets me most is how they price gouge you on some of the fucking food and stuff in there. It's, especially on the popcorn. As someone that makes popcorn at home, I can tell you for what the fucking price that they charge you for popcorn at home, you could feed literally probably the like 2,500 troops we've got in Afghanistan right now. You could probably give them all a bowl of popcorn for the cost that they charge you for a single bowl if you were to go ahead and make it yourself.
True. Yeah. I can kind of understand to a degree why they're expensive. That's where their profit comes from, and most of their revenue, really. Not so much the films, just like getting you to buy the stuff in the movies, in the movie theaters. So that's why they're also struggling during this time. But yeah, you're not wrong. That shit's expensive.
Oh yeah, and like the biggest thing is like the popcorn. That's pretty automatic in how that gets popped and made. Like they just need to put the kernels in the top, let it pop itself. They don't even really need to watch it, and then they just need to scoop it into a container for you. And literally, not buying wholesale like a movie theater would. You know, standard fucking retail price for an 8-pound pack of Orville Redenbachers off Amazon is less than $12. It's literally 9 cents an ounce, and that's not even like going for a wholesale price.
And you get more out of it instead of just one bag of popcorn.
To put it into perspective, when I was eating popcorn almost like at least 3 or 4 times a week, that got me through about a year worth of popcorn. So that makes a shit ton of popcorn like no tomorrow. Cause I don't bother with the microwave popcorn because that's honestly a rip off cost wise as well at the end of the day. You know,
Yeah, I like microwave popcorn. Shit.
microwave popcorn.
Popcorn elitist.
It's one of those microwave popcorn makes
popcorn.
sense. You're paying very much for the convenience there, and that's what you pay for the microwave popcorn. I just so happen to own a popcorn maker, a popcorn pan that's specifically engineered for making popcorn on the stove, so it doesn't take me that much longer to just go ahead and make it from scratch. Plus, you can make it in coconut oil, which is a little bit healthier than the smothered oil and butter that they put the microwave popcorn in.
Yeah, to each their own.
I will admit, it is fucking delicious.
It is delicious.
Okay, and reading through the Amazon page on the fucking kernels that I was talking about just got ridiculous. 100% whole grain, gluten-free popcorn. Yes, the kernels of corn don't contain gluten. That's kind of self-explanatory. That's like saying water is wet.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around gluten-free popcorn.
No, I wouldn't eat it.
Also, gluten isn't like even necessarily bad. It's just the people who are allergic to gluten can't eat the stuff, and that's for obvious reasons.
And it's like the thing about gluten-free things like gluten-free popcorn, it's like popcorn doesn't have wheat. Like popcorn should never have gluten in it. If your popcorn has gluten in it, your popcorn is contaminated at that point. Literally nothing that goes into making popcorn contains fucking gluten. It's like the time I saw gluten-free sauerkraut.
Ew.
And I'm like, you know, I don't even eat sauerkraut, but even if I did, I'd be disappointed in that brand because
gluten-free.
You know, I can honestly imagine like Coke releasing Dasani as gluten-free water.
Did you hear about how Dasani outright failed in the UK?
What they do in the UK.
Okay, so one thing to keep in mind is that back when Dasani went over to the UK, what bottled water was different in the States than what it was in the UK. So in the States, water has basically always pretty much been purified tap water at the end of the day. However, in the UK, bottled water was actually a bit more expensive because it was typically like actual spring water. So it was actually specialized to not just straight out of a tap. And they tried to release Dasani there, and it eventually got out that it was purified tap water. And that wasn't quite enough to nail it in the head because they did sell it for quite a bit cheaper than most other bottled water brands. So, it was sold there as a convenience factor, kind of like how bottled water is sold here in the States. You don't, unless you don't own like a water cooler in your house or anything like that, for most people, bottled water is bought for convenience, not for everyday drinking at the house. But they had their factory actually get contaminated at one point. And that's what kind of sealed the deal and ended Dasani as a brand in the UK.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Dasani would have failed anyways, just because, honestly, if you have bottled water, why is your bottled water carbonated? When you open up a bottle of water, it should not hiss.
Wait, Dasani is carbonated?
It has to be because every time you open a bottle of Dasani, it hisses.
Ew.
Didn't even know that. And I don't know, some people
Think
like,
of-
what is it, LaCroix that is the carbonated,
That's
slightly...
carbonated water. That's different. Like, that's sparkling water,
I
essentially.
don't get carbonated water. What the hell's the point?
For some people, sparkling water is just basically like I kind of like this. I kind of like, say, not LaCroix specifically, but Perrier. It's kind of like Sprite without the lemon lime taste. Just to be honest, just kind of like that fizz.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm personally not a fan of either one. So, but yeah, carry on.
I've tried LaCroix. Respect to those that enjoy it. If you enjoy LaCroix, have fun with LaCroix. It tastes like hot garbage to me, though.
Nice. I don't know. Yeah, I never personally tried LaCroix, sorry. But it's just like I've tried how was the other one pronounced? Pierre, right?
Perrier.
Pierre?
Perrier. Yeah, Perrier, not a fan at all. But it's just like, yeah, I'm good. Personally, I'll just drink regular filter water personally. Or
Yeah, it's
just
like
bottled water I get from Kirkland or something.
Yeah, it's like me. I prefer my filtered water. It's why one of the first things they did once I moved into this place was install a water filter. Worth every penny of it. Convenience of filtered water, basically straight out of my own personal tap. Also means that I've got plenty of water to use in cooking and everything, so that gets rid of all the crappy taste that's in the Vegas water out here.
It's smart. So, what's next on the
Soda
list?
tier list.
Oh boy, we gotta end it with a tier list. That means it's gotta be good.
Okay, let's go ahead, see how long this tier list takes us. Let me go ahead and get everything prepped up for that. Weird fucking.
Because I honestly
tier
love
list
that
makes
fast food
wants
tier
to
list that we
show.
did last time.
Here we go.
Okay, first things right off the bat. A repeat for offender from last time. A&W.
Okay, A&W the restaurant is bad. A&W root beer, I think, is actually good. Not as good as Bangs, but I would honestly put that in a B tier. If you're looking for root beer, that's not a bad one to start with.
A&W's good. Now, what about Dr. Pepper?
Dr.
Oh,
Pepper.
do you have an opinion, Furman?
Oh, with A&W, it's okay. I prefer Mug, but it's okay. But Dr. Pepper is a solid A tier for me, though. That's my second. That's my second soft drink outside of my number one, and then the number 3 would be Coke easily.
Okay, and what about Pepsi? Can we all agree F tier?
No,
No, not for me.
S tier, son. S tier.
I would say it's at least B tier.
Pepsi is the goat.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I'll give you this one, Fryman, but in my opinion, Coke is the inherent superior cola.
I mean, I'll admit I've tasted both. I can understand why one would choose Coke or Pepsi, but me,
Well,
I've always liked Pepsi the most.
Well, let's slow down, Carl, because we want to make sure this is at least kind of unanimous. Like, do we at least agree like A and W is B tier?
Yeah,
Yeah.
A&W would be B tier. I'll agree that Dr. Pepper's A tier. What are your thoughts on Dr. Pepper, Chris?
Yeah, definitely A tier.
Pepsi,
Like for me, Dr. Pepper's S tier, but I would settle for A tier just for a unanimous decision.
Yeah. My thing is, a lot of sodas for me don't hit up to the A tier, the S tier beverage wise. Like, not too many sodas all listed S tier. Now, Pepsi, I'll accept that as S tier because I know there's a lot of people that love Pepsi.
Down to B tier.
My biggest thing, well, you know what, let's put that probably in the middle between you two at about A tier. I'm going to stay out of the Pepsi one just because Pepsi's way too sweet for my taste. And that really offsets. Like, that's the thing that kind of makes me prefer Coke over Pepsi, is that Coke has a different taste and it's not quite as sweet. Whereas when I try to drink a Pepsi, it feels like I'm taking a sledgehammer of sugar to the face.
Fair enough.
Now,
all right, Fanta.
Yeah, Fanta.
Actually, Fanta, I think a solid B. It depends on the Fanta. I mostly drink the orange one, but yeah, it's not bad. I put it as a B tier if I'm looking for something different.
Yeah, typically I'm not looking out for fruity sodas. Fanta is an inoffensive choice. Yeah, I would settle on B tier.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, the fruit sodas are kind of weird. Now, some of the Mexican markets in my area serve like this small independent apple one that I don't think is on this list. I'd probably take one of those over a Fanta, but that's more of a craft soda, and it's not a fair fight there once you start throwing in the craft sodas against the standard, what you can get at most fast food restaurants or shops, you know?
Fair enough.
How about, speaking of the devil, how about LaCroix?
That's not a soda.
It's probably owned by a soda company, so it kind of got looped in with the rest of them. I think it's C primarily because I've never had it, so I'll be fair until I actually try it. But who knows?
I mean, we haven't even had it. Why is it even on this list? Just get it out of here.
I'll
or
be
put
honest,
it sorry, or you can put it in Z tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna
To
put it
be
in
like,
Z
we
tier.
never tried it.
To put it into perspective, kind of what LaCroix tastes like, imagine if you took let's say it's a lemon lime style LaCroix, right? Imagine if you take a tablespoon of 7-Up or whatever your preferred lemon lime soda is. You put that into an 8-ounce can, filled the rest of the way with just straight carbonated water. That's what LaCroix tastes like. It's
I'll give it a
basically
try, but yeah, I'll still give it a try, but I'll admit that does not sound appealing at all.
Yeah.
Next up is Schweppes.
Is that a ginger ale?
Yes, it's a ginger ale.
Yeah, it's a type of ginger ale.
Yeah, I've never had it, so it's on you guys.
I'd say C tier. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to grab one.
I'll be honest, Schweppes, it's an okay brand. But literally the only reason I'm going to pick up Schweppes over something like Canada Dry is literally hey, it's cheaper than Canada Dry at Smith's today.
Yeah.
Now, next up is 7-Up.
D
I
tier.
prefer B. I put it in C because personally I prefer Sprite or Sierra Mist even over 7-Up.
I would say drop it down to C because I say D tier because honestly, 7-Up out of all like the lemon lime sodas, that's probably my least favorite.
I'll be honest, I'm not big on 7-Up either. So I might kind of agree either C or D tier there with you guys. Just because 7 Up, once again, it's one of those things, a bit like Schweppes. I get it when it's cheaper than the alternative. Now, Sierra Mist, I'm going to stay out of this one because I've only had it once within the last several years, and I think the fast food restaurant had their machine broken that day because it tasted like it was just like halfway watered down Sprite at the time.
Yeah, that's not a fair comparison. I would
No.
say Sierra Mist is A tier for me.
It's C tier for me at most.
Okay, then B tier meet at the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And how
if you
about
want.
Squirt?
Squirt's okay. I haven't had it in
It's
a
not a
while.
lemon lime soda. It's a grapefruit soda.
Yeah. I'd put it C.
Yeah, honestly, I tried Squirt before and like a couple times before, and I've never liked it anytime I've tried it. So I'd actually put that in a D tier.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of neutral on Squirt. Squirt is just kind of a weird flavor. Like there's a solid reason why I don't know another company or another manufacturer that has done a grapefruit soda.
Yeah,
Squirt
it's just
kind
like
of cornered the
really
market
sour.
there. There's not too many customers that go after grapefruit flavored soda at the end of the day. Now, how about Capri Sun?
Mm,
I liked it more as a kid. It's okay today, but solid C at best.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's basically the kids' like lunch item, like because they're not supposed to be given sodas.
Yeah, kinda. Ooh. You guys still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, sorry about that. Give me 1 second. My computer screen randomly locked up on me. There we go.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, stream's good too.
Okay, there we go. So, next up is Canada Dry.
I like Canada Dry.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I like Canada Dry too.
honestly,
A tier
it's
or
so
S tier?
consistent. I think it would be S tier for me.
Yeah, just solid B for me. I like it more so when I got nothing else to drink, but it's solid on its own in its own right.
Honestly, I think I'm aside a bit with Chris on this one at the S tier, just because for me, Canada Dry is like my go-to ginger ale. It is honestly, it's the one that I prefer to have stocked in the house, and it's usually one I keep stocked in the house for whenever, I'm feeling sick or whatever, and it's always great to have. Now, how about Kool-Aid? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Honestly,
mm,
the problem with Kool-Aid is that you need a lot of sugar to make it taste like anything good. And
I only like lemon Kool-Aid. I'm good.
yeah, I would say that's actually an E tier for me.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I think it's better than LaCroix, so I think we should put it into F tier, because it's better than LaCroix. However, I'm also going to state that the only real good thing about it, in my opinion, is it is goddamn dirt cheap at the end of the day. Like,
yeah.
that's its
Like,
that
it's
is
literally
its
like
big
60 cents a
advantage.
pack.
Yeah, its big advantage is I am broke, but I don't want to drink. It's I am so broke, I don't have access to good tasting water in my house, so this will make me actually drink. Because let's face it, when all you have is tap water, it's a lot. That's how a lot of people don't get enough water in their day to day life, is if they only have access to Vegas tap water, because that stuff is garbage. With that in
Alright,
mind,
so
next up is Mug Root Beer.
Yeah,
now
I'm personally, it's the only real root beer I liked. Oh, and A&W is just not for me, so I'd put it above A&W, but it's a
honestly, I'm
it's
in
okay.
the opposite. Mug, I think, is lesser than A&W. Like it doesn't have enough vanilla taste for me.
Mm. Yeah, fair enough.
How about you, Carl?
Honestly, funny thing here is I'm kind of between you guys. I rate it kind of with AMW. It is slightly better than AMW, but not by much. Honestly, I'm more of a Barks fan. Like, if I'm gonna go root beer, it's gotta be Barks. Or, like, for my preferential. If I'm gonna go for a mainstream one, it's gotta be Barks, or it's gotta be, like, one of the fancy, ridiculously expensive craft ones that I'm always too cheap to bother with.
Yeah.
Now, what's your
So
thoughts on
on that
Barks,
note, let's go
Fryman?
over Barks.
I've never had Barks, so it's up to you. It's up to you two.
Honestly, I think that's the best root beer.
S tier.
I would say now the real question is, if you're going to go to, like, say, a fridge at like a gas station and you have to pick out a soda, would you pick Canada Dry or would you pick Barks?
I'd pick Canada Dry.
I'd probably pick Barks for no other reason than I prefer root beer if I'm just picking up a beverage to drink, whereas ginger ale is usually kind of a, hey, I'm not feeling that great type of beverage. What about yourself,
So I would say
Scarlett?
I would say by that measure, that would put Barks into S tier.
Okay. Now, next up comes Sunkissed.
Sunkiss. I think I've had them a few times. They're okay, but I'd drink Fanta before Sunkissed.
Honestly, I can't even remember the last time I had a Sunkissed. I think it's just comparable to the taste of like orange Fanta.
Okay. Honestly, I think I'd
'Cause-
take Fanta before Sunkiss, though, so I might kind of stick with Fryman on this one. Put it a ring below Fanta.
Because my problem is that orange soda is a lot like pizza to me. Like, yeah, there's different pizza chains and they all have like different qualities, but at the end of the day, they all fulfill the same purpose for me.
Does that mean when we do a pizza tier list, it's only going to be between me and Carl to have the real opinions?
Well, we already did like the fast food tier list and we rated like the pizzas all together aside from Domino's.
Now, at the end of the day, real quick, before we get onto the other sodas, because there's an honorary mention I want to bring up here that's not actually on the list, and that is going to be Cactus Cooler. Have you guys ever had that?
No.
No, I've never had Cactus Cooler.
It is an interesting soda. It was very popular where I lived back in the day. It's essentially an orange pineapple soda.
Oh, that's interesting.
It kind of corners a market like Squirt, where, it's the only specific orange pineapple combo soda I know of. But it's also at least on par with like A&W Mug and Sierra Mist. Not necessarily something I constantly go out of the way for, but definitely a good thing to have.
All right.
Now, what about Monster?
Oh, that's an energy drink.
Yeah, why did they put it? This list is terrible.
Yeah.
I've had
I
Monster.
prefer Red Bull.
Yeah, I would prefer a Red Bull over a Monster. I do like Monster coffee, and that's not too bad in all fairness. I would put it in C. If we're just talking the energy drink.
That's what I was thinking, C tier. Now, what about Fresca?
I have never had Fresca.
Neither have I.
The most I know about Fresca is that it was a prominent story point in season 2 of the show The Boys. Otherwise, no, I've never had Fresca.
Do you have an opinion?
No, I have no opinion whatsoever.
Okay, we'll put it down with Corey because apparently none of us have had it. What about Pib Extra?
Never had Pib.
I have. It's basically kind of like a substitute Dr. Pepper. I would say it's B tier. Like, it's just Dr. Pepper if you're at a movie theater and don't have Dr. Pepper.
What about Snapple?
Never had Snapple. It never looked good to me.
Yeah, D tier. Honestly, I've had Snapple before. It's fine if someone gives it to you, but not worth at all going out and getting your way.
The only good thing about Snapple is that it has reusable glass bottles that you can put a better beverage in when you're done with it.
Or just for anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about Mellow Yellow?
I've never had it.
I have, and I consistently drink it. Honestly, it's a really good lemon lime soda. Um, I would say definitely better than Sierra Mist. Not S tier though. The problem is that Mellow Yellow, if you drink enough of it, it does leave an aftertaste. I would say it's at least A tier.
Okay. I'll go ahead, put it in the A tier section, because honestly, I've never had Mellow Yellow at the end of the day. Oh, and
You
looks
can
like we
only get them
missed.
from Coke freestyle machines here in Vegas. So if you go to like say a Wendy's, ask for Mellow Yellow next time, see if they have it.
Okay. The next up is Crush, because we apparently missed one of the orange ones.
Yeah, I put Crush behind Sunkissed personally. It's okay, but yeah, Sunkissed is better if you wanted that particular orange soda. So that's
What are
that's
your
how I
thoughts?
feel.
What are your thoughts, Chris?
Like I said, all orange sodas are basically like pizza to me. I can't really discern like taste because I have them so rarely because they all fit the same purpose.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm gonna go with the fry man on that. I don't drink a lot of orange sodas. Now, what about Mountain Dew, the gamer drink of choice?
Gamer
Yeah,
drink.
yeah. I'd put it in B tier. Like it, I put it above A and all the other ones in that row
Okay.
because that one is another one of the consistent drinks that I have sodas that I drink besides the others that I did mention, like Pepsi and Dr. Pepper and Coke. So that I'm a bit of bias there. So I would put that there.
Here's my difficulty with Mountain Dew is that normal Mountain Dew I don't actually like because the aftertaste is too strong. I actually like all the other Mountain Dew flavors though, like say Voltage or Code Red.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of in the same boat. I don't necessarily. I'm not big on the original Mountain Dew, but if you get me a case of throwbacks, I'm gonna be happy because throwbacks are a lot better than the modern day Mountain Dew.
I'm
I mean,
fine with modern day
I'm the one
Mountain
who
Dew.
made the. I mean, I
Yeah,
am the guy who made the gamer drink video. So
yeah. I'll say this: I'm the opposite of you, Chris. Like I only like the original Mountain Dew. The only other one I'm okay with is Code Red. The others are really just not good to me. I tried Liberty Brew, was not a fan. Voltage is just Liberty Brew, but a bit sweeter to me. And what was the other one? Is there another one? Oh yeah,
there's
there
like
was.
white.
What was it? Black Cherry, the one of those specialty ones that they have once in a blue moon. That one's okay, but it's a bit too. Uh,
I think that's the problem for me. Mountain Dew in general is just too sweet, so I can't put it any higher than B tier.
yeah, it's definitely sugar overload if that's what you're going for.
Okay,
Now
now
Sprite.
I like Sprite over Sierra Mist, so B tier.
yeah, I kind of agree with that. What about you, uh, Chris?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but lately, anytime I've had a Sprite, it hasn't been that good. I would say it's on the same level as Sierra Mist, but honestly, my preference is just that it's not as good.
Sprite tends to be my lemon lime go to if I'm gonna go for a lemon lime soda. At the end of the day, I have a preference of ginger ale over lemon lime sodas. So that's kind of the thing for me. I get them both for pretty much the same purpose, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna pick out almost any ginger ale over any lemon lime soda 9 times out of 10 if it's available.
All right. And then finally, the big daddy of them all, Coca-Cola.
I put it in A tier. Like if I can't get a Pepsi, I get a Coke, and I'm always happy no matter what.
Coke, I would honestly put in S tier because it's the most consistent cola. I'm literally drinking a Diet Coke as we're speaking. That's my favorite diet soda. And while some of the flavors for Coke aren't that good, like vanilla or cherry, like honestly, I prefer cherry Pepsi. Like, I don't think that's enough to mark it down from S tier.
Well, as I'm sure you guys probably figured out when you dropped by for New Year's, when it comes to the soda, if I'm going to be a bit of a fanboy of any of the companies, it's kind of Coca-Cola. I like Coca-Cola in its taste, and I honestly love Coca-Cola memorabilia, because Coke just has the cooler looking memorabilia at the end of the day over Pepsi. And that is part of why Coke has won a place in my heart over the days. Now,
So
next
yeah,
up.
I'd see.
Oh, what were you gonna say,
Oh, I was
Chris?
just gonna say this looks like a very complete tier list.
There's
And
one
we
more
should
thing
not
for us to go
continue.
ahead and go over. Clorox. Obviously S tier. It helps kill the corona. You know, and besides, what else are you gonna drink while you're snacking on your Tide Pods? Why is this on the way?
Excellent who made this deserve to be like thrown in jail.
Like, I am 90% sure whoever designed that Clorox to be in this tier list designed it during the whole fucking Tide Pods thing. Because there's no other way it would have made it on the list.
Yeah, honestly, this whoever made this like made utter garbage.
Now, at
I
the end
mean,
of the day,
there's some good choices here.
yeah. At the end of the day, I think we can agree, though, I'll take almost any cleaning product over Clorox unless I specifically need bleach. Because I just hate cleaning with bleach. The smell of bleach is absolutely fucking horrendous.
Yeah, it'll kill you.
Like, it's got its uses. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have bleach in my house. Because when you need bleach, well, at the end of the day, what you need is fucking bleach. But it's a pain in the ass to deal with. You know, if you don't have rubber gloves and you have to, like, wipe something down with a bleach rag, your hands are going to smell like bleach for, like, 2 fucking days. It doesn't matter how well you shower, how many times you shower. You can, like, straight up scrub the skin off your hands till they're raw, and your hands will still smell like fucking bleach somehow. If you have to, once again, if you're gonna clean with bleach, get rubber gloves for that reason alone. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
Know what I mean?
you pretty much have to, like you said. Otherwise, have fun clean that shit out of your hands without rubber gloves.
I am like, you know, it's like, once again, it does have its purposes, but I use it so infrequently that honestly, I probably don't go through a gallon every 2 or 3 years, if not longer.
But yeah, as far as this tier list went, yeah, they had some odd choices on there. I mean, why do they have like Monster and not like any of the other like energy
Yeah,
drinks?
Isn't Monster though owned by a soda company? I think.
I don't think it matters. That list wasn't consistent at all. You might as well have just put Dasani on there because that's owned by Coke.
I'll be honest, next time, if we are going to pre-plan a tier list, what I need to do is just generate out my own. Because it's kind
Yeah.
of obvious that it's hit and miss what winds up on it. We're going to wind up with shit that none of us are fucking familiar with. Like fucking, you know, Fresca. Or, you know, in the fast food one where there's, what, like 4 or 5 different restaurants we ain't never been to?
Yeah, I saw that. Some of those are mostly in Canada. So,
Fucking
it's
Canadians.
Oh no.
It's always the Canadians.
So,
Yeah, they're gonna kill Chris.
by the way, I was reading through some of the reviews of Resident Evil 7, and by
Oh, yeah?
far, I love one of someone's rating systems on difficulties. The hardest mode is Dark Souls that they mention, then it goes down to hard, then it goes down to normal, which is where they placed Resident Evil 7. Under that, they rate easy, and then the one below that is my 90-year-old grandma could play it.
Yeah, his
Though that does
90-year-old grandma.
yeah, that does remind me of the old Skyrim grandma streamer. Are you guys familiar with that one?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I know she took a break recently because of health reasons, but I'm familiar with her. Apparently, she's in Elder Scrolls 6 whenever that game comes out.
Oh, so wait, she's still alive then?
Yeah, I think she's still alive. I think she just took time off. Like there was some mixed misconception going on there that she was actually sick and on her last legs, but no, she's fine. She just kind of took a break from streaming. She did comment on the whole thing, like, yeah, journalism blows. They always make things sound worse than they really are.
Okay. It's like I hadn't really been following her story too much, but I just know that I loved her enthusiasm for the game. I was never that big on Skyrim personally. I can't really get into it. The story doesn't interest me at the end of the day.
Yeah, and the most of the things they say is the best part is you can mod it, but personally, if I'm not gonna mod a game I don't like.
Yeah, it's like if I have to mod a game to make it enjoyable, because here's the thing. Don't get me wrong, like I mod the shit out of Minecraft when I play Minecraft. Like there was a time period where like 40 gigs of a hard drive on a laptop I owned one year was taken up by a shit ton of different Minecraft mods I was dealing with that I had specifically curated because they all worked well enough together without causing the game to crash. It was like some ungodly amount of mods I had installed on that thing, but
It
made
gets
the game fun.
Like honestly, it's one thing if like you mod something like let's say a Hat in Time, because a Hat in Time like gameplay wise is already structurally sound. But it's
Yeah.
like weren't there mods that were pretty much necessary to make that game even like playable at times? Skyrim.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
and
well, Skyrim it can be played, but there were some mods that made it better depending on, your system and everything. But generally speaking though, what's there is just kind of okay at best. These mods actually make it a somewhat better and more interesting game.
not to mention, I'll be honest, at the end of the day, like Skyrim did not provide enough challenge to make it worth playing for the sake of gameplay by itself. Cuz a story being boring can be something I can deal with a game if the gameplay is intriguing enough to get me to continue. However, Skyrim without mods is easy enough, even on its highest difficulty, that I couldn't be bothered to finish. Like, literally, it doesn't take me too long to be able to punch my first dragon to death. And
Or in
that's
some
with
cases,
them
400.
removing the. Yeah. And that's with them removing the unarmed skill, which I'm still salty about.
You know.
And then, not to mention, like, I kinda hate their whole Civil War subplot. Like, I tried to play through that one because I had people try to tell me, oh, you might enjoy if you focus on that subplot more than the main story. And I'm like, so you're telling the player who plays a Khajiit that I have to choose from the people that either are anti the idea of freedom of religion or hate me because I'm a Khajiit.
Yeah.
Like, at that point in time, you're making me choose between a war of the Westboro Baptist Church and the Klan.
Those
I
guys
don't
are
like
dicks.
either of them.
Okay. There you go. Show found a reason to use that again.
Oh, yeah. And hey, I don't blame him. Honestly, I need to get up some good clips for using on my soundboard because I've got a soundboard set up. I just need to get good audio clips for it at some point.
Honestly, the funniest part when it comes to like finding sound clip is just finding ones that haven't just been really overused. Because it's like I do have something like this that's been used in a lot of things, but then it's like I have things like those guys are dicks, or I have as an example,
The murderer.
Oh, that was a bit mumbled. I couldn't hear it.
It was who's that Pokemon? It's the murderer.
Yeah, it's just none of us could hear it. That's the problem.
Weird.
Oh.
Weird.
It's probably
Yep.
Discord.
Now, I'll be honest,
Yep.
one of the soundboards that I need to see about going ahead and getting set up at one point or another is gonna be from King of the Hill. Because honestly, King of the Hill has some memorable quotes, and I really hope they're not too overused in the streaming world. I don't follow a lot of streamers. I should really watch more streams.
Yeah, some. You don't have to follow that many.
The main reason why Pfizer's the only COVID vaccine manufacturer whose name I actually remember is actually because of Dale from King of the Hill. In his line about Bill taking the placebo drug, I think it's made by Pfizer. And I'm like, that's the only reason that name has stuck with me is King of the Hill.
Pfizer. Actually, there is a clip of King of the Hill we can take a look at as we're nearing the end of this. Let me look it up.
I'm just reminded of this video of these guys playing Gmon, and someone was actually using a Dale Gribble model, and they floated out of the ground and said, "Did you guys know that the JFK assassination was faked?"
All right, I found the clip. Here we go.
Oh boy.
Okay, let me go ahead and get it pulled up on the laptop.
This is the real anime.
Okay. Yeah. Give me one moment. There we go.
It gets me every time.
すいません。朝の育成の認可に署名を。朝？ええ。安くて丈夫で布地やロープや紙なんかの原料になる植物のことです。
There's one that I kind of want to use, but it's from Ghost Stories.
まあ、朝って言っても特別だから。
And if you know that anime, you know how the dub is.
Yeah, I'll be
God.
honest. King of the Hill is like a classic. Honestly, I would love to have seen a reboot in the last 4 years just to kind of see the creators of the show take on the world in the modern era and how King of the Hill is reacting to shit.
Yeah, they're supposed. It's in the works. Fox has approached the creator of King of the Hill, but both he's busy doing his own thing, and also, they just got bought by Disney. If it does happen, it'll probably be on Disney Plus.
If it does happen, Disney will find a way to ruin it.
Yeah, probably.
Look, I don't like what they've done. Look, I can't trust them to not buy out a thing and not do it the justice it's deserved. We all know what they did to the Artemis Fowl movie.
Well, to be fair with you, though, they didn't. It's not their fault. That was a film stuck in development, and the director has on record stated he wanted to change the fundamental part of the book, the first book at least, that made the first book what it was, which was not making him a villain.
Oh yeah.
So it's like Disney just basically inherited a turd and put it out for you to watch. But I can't say you're not wrong in that sentiment.
Like, okay, you know what? There's actually a quote from King of the Hill that perfectly describes my feelings on that movie.
Okay, Dale, help him.
Wait, is this a trick?
Nope.
Oh boy.
Let her rip. Just keep it clean.
Bill! Bill, you have to be the stupidest man on the planet to think this is a good idea. Have you seen
Dude,
what
that
you're
the stream
wearing?
lagged for me.
That
Jesus.
outfit makes you look like a
I get this
sequin
one.
train wreck. Look at you! You're part of a 12-headed jackass! This course is the feces that is produced when shame eats too much stupidity! You people make me envy the deaf and the blind! Underwear! Money! Fat!
Like, that is one of my all-time favorite lines from him.
There's so many good clips you can pull from that.
I know, like, dude, like, I'm intending to get the audio from that section of the series, like, that scene right there. Like, there are so many different audio clips that I could just pull and use out of context while streaming, and just have a fucking blast with it on a soundboard.
I mean, there's 12-headed jackass. You people make me envy the blind and the deaf. Underwear.
The
Get
underwear
out of
one
my
is gonna be a lot of fun. Just randomly have Dale shouting underwear as I'm streaming. Like,
Don't forget King of the Hill when he gets really pissed off, especially the one where he quoted a Bible verse, which was "Get out of my house, Exodus."
yeah, no, that one was pretty fun as well. Like, dude,
Or the "I'm gonna kick your ass and then I'm gonna reenact kicking your ass."
dude,
We went
King
to
of the Hill has, like, there's a reason why King of the Hill is memed as much as it is even to this day. Like, memeing was not much of a thing back when King of the Hill was still running for a good chunk of the series. But, like, it is one of the most memeable TV shows I've seen.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
So next
Yeah.
time on the King of the Hill fan gushing fan service fan podcast,
We're King of the Hill podcast now. You heard it here first, folks.
I tell you what, we sell Pro Hank and Pro Hank accessories. Okay, now that I feel dirty, like we're running some kind of Hank Hill themed sex shop, and it's a disturbing idea. But
Hey,
we can
you
sell
said it
some
now.
of those fake asses that Hank wears.
Shit.
You
That poor bastard, he has no ass.
It's like, I'll be honest, I forgot about that episode up until I started going on about that. That I'm like, oh yeah, Hank has a fake ass. We could sell those if we ran a Hank themed sex shop. And now Disney is gonna totally try to take down our video.
Damn.
So,
It's
speaking
good while it
of
lasts.
yeah, but speaking of Disney trying to own everything under the sun, can we just agree that it's nice that, we can admit now that we as men have a favorite Disney princess? It's obviously Xenomorph.
Jesus Christ, stop it.
Yep.
They come out of the body of a queen. Every female Xenomorph is a Disney princess.
Yeah. Don't forget the queen. Don't forget the queen herself. She's the queen. She's the queen. She's the queen of all Disney princesses, along with the Xenomorphs. And then you got Ellen Ripley at one point. She was the queen. Yeah, that was a shitty movie. But yeah, no, she had the queen. The assembly cut's okay.
Who knows? Maybe if the podcast gets big enough and we have Patreons, maybe that's something we could do as like a private Patreon stream where we sit there and we just like roast the Alien movies back to back on stream.
We'd probably get away with it doing it on Discord, personally speaking. But hey, it's a thing to think about.
No, yeah, but that's long down the road. Though, speaking of which, I do have, if we ever wind up doing it that way, a convenient method for us to be able to all watch it as well. Because if I run it off my Jellyfin server, Jellyfin actually allows for remote viewing together, which is just a super cool feature, especially in 2020 where you might not always want everyone coming to your house all at once.
Yeah, fair enough. It's much easier to do this from the comfort of our own home, anyway.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm also looking at just different like things just kind of throughout this. And I sent you this picture yesterday, Carl, or at least at some point.
Are you reading Alien Princess fan fiction?
No, stop it. We're not making that a thing.
It's going to be a thing.
But,
Alien princess.
No. Anyways, there's this image where it's like a Google search, and at the top of it says what to say during sex. Ooh ee ooh ah ah ting tang walla walla bang bang.
Do you both break out into song and dance after the fact, or during that? Questions for later.
During.
I said questions for later.
Oh yeah.
Speaking
Speaking of which,
that's just funny.
So I gotta ask, from back in the day, what would you guys consider your preferred TV show from back in the day?
Ed and Eddie.
Yeah, I have to go with Ed and Eddie as well. It's one show I actually watched the most growing up, outside of maybe Batman the Animated Series. That was good shit.
Okay.
But yeah, for me, it's just because Cartoon Network was the most readily available for me, and Ed and Eddie was the most readily available show at that time. And it was unlike a lot of shows which are on readily available networks and are readily available. Ed and Eddie was actually good.
Oh yeah, like I swear Cartoon Network had the like biggest combination of being really, really good with shit or really, really bad with shit. And especially in the last few years when, you know, they've basically been Teen Titans Go 24/7.
To be fair, I also blame that on the SpongeBob effect.
Yeah, can't argue that. Has anyone seen the trailer for that SpongeBob spinoff by chance? It looks bad.
I, out of respect to Steven Hillenberg, have not even bothered trying to take a look at it.
Good. Your eyes will never forget it once you see it because it looks bad. And I mean bad as in they went 3D animated and it looks bad. Kind of gross.
Oh
Doesn't even look
my
good.
god.
Oh, he looked at it. Oh no, we've lost him.
All right, everyone, shut down the stream. We have lost our host.
Yeah, no, I'm taking cover. You guys have fun.
So yeah.
Wait. They took a children's show and designed it to be more children oriented.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, entirely against Steven Hillenberg's will for where he wanted to take the show, because originally when he pitched the show, they wanted a show that catered to kids in high school, like Hey Arnold Underwater essentially is what they wanted SpongeBob to be, and Steven Hillenberg fought them on that and made SpongeBob what it is and still is to a degree. It just that when you
It's gone downhill still.
Yeah, but it's like it is different than most shows you would expect or cartoons you would expect, because most of them are in school and having kids do dumb kid things. SpongeBob's actually a somewhat older adult that actually has a job and deals with adult shit. Just sometimes he goes to boating school, which was the compromise they made for him going to school because they wanted that again with SpongeBob initially. But that was the compromise. But
Yay,
now
compromise.
Yeah, now that he's dead, they're going to do whatever the hell they want with SpongeBob, which was he wanted no spin-offs because he thought they were pointless. So not only are we going to get Camp Coral, which is the name of the show, then we're going to get a Squidward standalone show on Netflix. I don't know what that's about, but it's about Squidward.
Yeah, let's just get
Part of me is hoping that maybe the Squidward one might be good, just because, let's face it, Now that we're all adults, Squidward's the most relatable character from SpongeBob.
I know, but he's better when he's not when he's the focus.
With SpongeBob.
Yeah, when SpongeBob's there and he's there to act as a foil, then yeah, I'd say that's when the show is at its peak. But when it's just Squidward, it kind of is boring. They had a whole episode about what if it was just about Squidward, and you all know how that turned out. It was good, but it's like it does tell you if you had a show dedicated to just Squidward with no SpongeBob, it's not good. But I
Huh.
do know Camp Coral's also supposed to tie in with that new movie they made where it's about him finding Gary. I never saw it though.
They made a movie
So-
about him finding Gary.
Yeah, that was the third SpongeBob movie, and that's also when they went fully with the art style you see in Camp Coral, but obviously on a lesser budget. Or the movie has more of a budget, so it looks better, but it still looks weird because you're so used to 2D characters. So, yeah, Nickelodeon's weird.
So basically, the third movie is literally a season 4 SpongeBob episode. Like I remember that being Gary come home.
It's also supposed to set up what Camp Coral is and what it's about, or at least generally. Oh, hey, I remember Camp Coral. That was in that movie. I'll watch the show based on that. I want to know more that happens there.
I ain't drunk enough to see more of that show. I'm gonna need a crap ton of alcohol if I'm gonna sit there and watch that.
I'm not gonna bother. But yeah, no, alcohol sounds nice.
Yeah, it's like that is shameful. That is just shameful. So,
Yeah.
what good news about media do we have today?
That is a very good question.
Something about a Star Wars game in development, if you want to call it that.
Is that really good news though?
Kind of is because it can be because EA no longer has the video game license for Star Wars anymore. So now Ubisoft is making their own game, and it's the team behind The Division. But apparently, there's again another rumor of a new Knights of the Old Republic game developed by another studio. There was one person joking that it should be made by Naughty Dog. And I'm not going to lie, no, I hope that's not true.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. EA butchered when they tried to do
Battlefront.
blah blah blah. Yeah, they butchered Battlefront. I'm a level with you. I bought and played through Jedi Fallen Order, and it was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, and I think there's a sequel in the works. We just haven't heard anything about it. I did not play Star Wars Squadrons because that's a game I think you need a VR to really enjoy. And I'm not really in the mood to dust off my VR. And it also just didn't appeal to me.
I'll be honest, if I'm gonna do space stuff, I'm just gonna load up Elite Dangerous at this point. Because I have Elite Dangerous, and if I'm gonna sit there and I want to do space stuff, I'll go ahead and play Elite Dangerous. But have you ever played Dark Souls, Fryman?
I bought a PS5 for Demon Souls, so I'm pretty sure that tells you everything.
Okay, so the Fallen Order takes a lot of hints from Dark Souls in its play style.
I've played it, so don't worry. They said though that they more so would say it's more comparable to Sekiro, their recent game, because Sekiro is more of an action game than an RPG like Dark Souls is, but it's still hard.
Okay, so I've never played Sekiro. What initially got me to pick it up is a friend of mine who had played Dark Souls and said, hey, this ain't exactly as RPG heavy as Dark Souls is, but it shares a lot of similarities with Dark Souls, which, at the end of the day, it kind of does with how the rest parts work, as well as the fact that it's a good challenge. Though I am so how far have you gotten through the game, Fryman?
Sekiro, I'm near the end of it.
No, I mean Fallen Order.
Oh, I beat it when it came out, so
Chris,
I know about.
have
He
you
doesn't
played
play-
Fallen Order?
He doesn't play Star Wars.
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't play Star Wars games.
Do you care if this next little bit has a bit of a spoiler for the game then?
No.
So, I'm kind of upset about one section of Fallen Order where I'm fighting the second Dark Sister or whatever her name is.
Oh, the
And,
ninth
like,
Dark
yeah.
Sister.
My thing is, while I'm fighting her, decent chunk before the end of the game, it's where you're on that one. I think it's the Wookiee planet that I was on, where I was fighting her. I could have kicked her ass. And for story reasons, they cock blocked me from winning that fight. And that kind of upset me.
Oh no, you beat her. If you might be talking about the second fight with the second sister, because you fight her like spoiler, you fight her 4 times throughout the
Oh yeah,
whole
no,
game.
I've beaten the game. What annoyed me is that like halfway through my run through, I could have beaten her right then and there versus having to beat her at the end of the game. Cause I had used all of one of my 4 stims and had her down at a half health before the cutscene started playing, and I'm just like, oh, you cheap bastard.
Yeah, and they do it the same with the third fight, and then the fourth fight you actually beat her for once. Just makes you go. I like her as a character, as like a rival character, but I do feel like you were kind of overusing her a bit. Because I will say, if there's one thing, I wish there were more, lightsaber type boss battles, because there's not very many.
Oh yeah, and like my big thing is there's a way to handle you're not actually going to beat this character. It's going to lead to a cutscene type battles, and a way to not handle it. Number one thing, actually make the battles quite literally impossible for you to go ahead and win. So that way, because it's Mega Man X, for example. It's done that with a couple of the bosses. Doesn't show the health bar or whatever. You're sitting there fighting. There's literally no way to win until you get down to a certain part of your health, and at that point it rolls onto the cutscene. That's the way to handle that. Cock blocking me halfway through kicking a boss's ass is not a way to handle that, in my opinion, because it kind of bait and switches me, and it literally annoyed the crap out of me when that happened.
Yeah, actually, I will say though that the first time you fought the second sister, that's when I think it does it right. But they do that too often until the end, then it makes you just get tired of it. But another Star Wars game actually did that similar concept, but they did it better because up front you know you're not going to win, and it's in Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast, where there's a point where your main character was a Jedi. He was a mercenary turned Jedi, but then he let go of the Force at one point. And then now at that point in the game, you don't have a lightsaber, and then you meet the main villain for the first time, and then he's a Sith, so he defeats you pretty easily because you don't have a lightsaber. But then eventually you get it back, and then you fight him near the end, and it's pretty epic. So yeah, I like that. I like how they did that. I think they did that a little bit better than Fallen Order because, like I said, they just kind of repeat that encounter multiple times that you think they would just let you win one, but without it being the final boss. But yeah, I get where you're coming from.
It's one of those things, honestly, I didn't mind it the first time it happened because they actually storylined why it wound up happening the first time in a way that makes sense. The one that I have the most issue with is the one where quite literally they framed it in a way where storyline-wise, my character was quote-unquote getting his ass handed to him, and your little robot friend saved you by putting up the force field, when in reality, I was far from losing that fight. Like, I've had a lot closer boss battles than in that fight. That fight was not a difficult boss battle for me. I was going ham on her and winning. But no. You're not defeating her. You're actually losing to her, and the robot had to save you. And I'm just like, don't patronize. Because at that point, it felt also a bit patronizing at the same time. It wasn't like geared in a way where there was a storyline reason for the escape. It's been a bit since the very beginning of the game, but I vaguely remember there was some storyline reason you
Yeah,
got the hell out of there.
Yeah, it's mainly due to the fact of who she is, because she's related to one of your companions in the game, and they obviously want to set her. They try the story wise. They want to set up her both her reveal as to who she is and where it goes near the end of the game. For the end of the game. But yeah, I get you. How they did that was a bit overdone because you just fight her too many times. So it's a bit unnecessary, especially when they pretty much, if you're good enough, you can win the fight. It's just the game just takes that victory from you.
I mean, honestly, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 2 kind of does something like that. And I found it kind of annoying. I'll get into that more because I actually want to save that for a stream. But yeah. Basically, you can actually beat this one boss like pretty easily, but the game says that they basically destroyed you. And I'm like, "How?"
Now that you bring that up, probably the worst game in my opinion that does this was Shenmue 3. They literally
Oh, I
have
remember seeing the ending to that.
Yeah, no, not just the ending. The first real fight part of this game, because this game, Shenmue 3, the other two has the least amount of fighting in it, which is good because the new fighting mechanics are god awful. But the very first fight, you fight two thugs and you easily can kick their ass. Although, again, the fighting mechanics are terrible. So, yeah. And then they throw this big brute at you that, yes, you can beat him, but uh, the game treats your victory or your loss as a loss no matter what, because then it sets up your character getting stronger and learning a new technique, and then you go and fight them again. And then that time you're expected to beat him, but that fight is terrible. But yeah, it doesn't help that the game again is terrible. So it makes those fight scenes just like what was the point in it? And yeah, at the end of the game they tease a fight and then it never really happens, and the game ends on a cliffhanger again.
Yay.
I doubt a Shenmue 4 will even happen. That's a game that literally shat itself out before it even came out, which is quite sad. I hope I know some fans love Shenmue 3, but I don't see why. It's just like this is a game that failed on its promise, or any like initial promise it had. So I'm just like, how can you like this game? Just I don't get it. What is this? What happened to that Pikachu? What did you do to that Pikachu?
I didn't do anything.
Wait,
Oh
what
my God.
Pikachu? Was it shared in the Discord chat?
Yeah.
He killed this poor Pikachu. It looks so ugly.
It's Pikachu.
I want to die.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
So help me. So help me. And cut.
You know what? That's actually one of the things that I need to probably put on my soundboard is put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Because
so help me. So
sadly,
help me.
I quote that show more. I quote that specific line of the movie. There's not much else I actually quote from the Monsters Inc. franchise outside of that.
Fair enough. I haven't even
Why is
seen...
Monsters Inc. a franchise, might I ask?
There's 2 movies, and apparently they might make another one or a series.
I thought there was
Well, there's
like
2
3
movies and a
movies
Kingdom
now.
Hearts 3 continuation.
Sort of. I don't know. I heard something about them wanting to make a series about Monsters Inc. Like a TV series. Let me look this up.
Maybe that's the next one we should do, a Pixar tier list.
Yeah, that requires us to watch all of them, and I haven't seen a good amount of Pixar films. At least the new
Well, we
ones.
probably have like a cutoff date for some of the newer ones.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll just have to go over which ones we've all seen.
Yeah, I have not seen the new one they made, Soul. It looks good though. No. Where is it? Yeah. There's an animated series coming out this year called Monsters at Work.
Oh boy.
It's a spin-off and a direct sequel. So yeah, it's supposed to come out in early 2021, so it could be coming out anytime between now and before May. But hey, they got the cast back, so that's pretty good.
Anyways, guys, I think we should probably start wrapping this up.
Yeah, no. This was a good
You guys,
good show.
Yeah, good show. You guys have a great rest of your night. Do remember, you guys can find the full recap of the stream week from now on YouTube. I'll have it up within the next day or two up on Podbean. And along with that, you'll be finding some highlight clips once they have the time to make them up on Library. Thank you guys. Enjoy.
Full rest of your night.
All right, have a good night, everybody.